again. Hello. Thank you for joining for the conclusion of our Slant Alpha adventure, but it's really a Slant Lima adventure today. Doing a cross the pond flight into Dublin from Boston. And as you can see, quite a few things have changed since the last time you saw. It's a lot darker, for one. And for two, we actually can see on our navigation display, we can see our destination. Now I have that at the highest range. We're still in Shanwick Oceanic at the moment, but as soon as we cross Resno, we're in Shannon Domestic. And we're going to start working on briefing our arrival into Dublin. I expect that we should be down about an hour from now, maybe even a little less. So, anyway, we want to welcome you back.
Air Canada 846, contact at Shannon 13115, bye-bye.
15, for Canada 846, bye-bye.
So, just to catch you up, we were told to
make
our next report with... Make our next report with Shannon.
KLM 645 to Shannon Control, good evening, radar control service, walk 4331, maintain, or actually descend, file 390.
Gonna knock the map range down just by one. So there's Resno, just over 80 miles away, 89 miles away, as you can see at the upper right of that display. 88.5 miles away. And so that is where we will cross back over into domestic airspace of Ireland. And our top of descent.
United 1639, contact Scottish Control 133.2,
right at the very top of the navigation display there.
Scottish Control 33.2, bye-bye.
I did not file a particular arrival into Dublin. The route just terminates at, what was the name of that point? It starts with an O, I forget. So the route just terminates at Olapo. So when we get a little closer in, we'll get assigned an arrival runway, and we'll get assigned our arrival star as well. I do have the Navigraph desk charts app, whatever you call this thing, and we can pull up any of the arrival charts that we need to. So ready to go with that when we need it. And we'll see how it shakes out. Still for now at flight level 390 and Mach decimal 85, and just wrapping up our oceanic trek and kind of check in on the overall event as well. So there we are on the left-hand side of that screen, but we're rapidly approaching this area here, which is the domestic Shannon control area. And you can see that the traffic behind us is definitely thinning out, and a lot of the, pretty much all of the East Coast U.S. and Eastern Canada has all dropped offline by now. They've had very long days, of course. So have I, because I did the work down at Dulles. Alarm went off at 6 this morning, Eastern time. It's now 4:25 in the afternoon. So yeah, it's been a long day, but it's always fun to spend a whole day at the hobby here on the rare occasions that the wife permits it. So, but there we are, and you can see again quite a few Twitch streamers that are still up and about for the moment. Appreciate you checking us all out. Get that out of the way. We need to start thinking about arrival checklists, get those back in front of me. So, yeah, the one thing that I do like about the PMDG and FSX, and I haven't quite found the equivalent in X-Plane yet, is the nighttime cockpit lighting. So I think so far everything I've found in the PMDG is just better, works out better than the X-Plane. Now I think that might have something to do with my graphic settings in X-Plane. My graphic settings in X-Plane are not ideal. FSX, I'm able to run a little higher because, of course, it's an older program, so it's a lighter loaded program.
Your Atlantic. 7 Bravo Mike, Shannon Control, good evening, Air Control Service, squawk 4340, maintain, actually climb 5390.
So it may be just that I'm not experiencing the full effect of the lighting in X-Plane just because the graphic settings aren't where they could be or should be if I had hardware that was a little bit more capable.
Squawk.
So, you know, these are things that I'll consider for future when, when I do have opportunities to invest in some upgrades. But for right now, I'm making do with what I got. And so the night lighting, FSX level I'm able to run it at is superior. And in X-Plane, I just simply fly through the day. We are getting up closer to the point where we need to be checking in with Shannon. Kind of watching that countdown in the upper right of the nav display. It's 51 miles now. And even though it's a bit early, we can maybe start trying to get a sense of what's going on at Dublin. Are they even staffing it? No, they're not even staffing it separately. It's not a featured airport in the event, so it was just the closest major airport to closest major airport to Boston. I may need to go check that out and see what's going on. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to mute the mic real quick and we'll go check out
Switch A5, call Scottish
home intruder is,
133.2.
and hopefully be back with you.
133.2, to take that. KLM 642 Alpha, contact Shannon 13115, alright?
Alright, well that was my daughter being picked up by her friend. So, all is well in the Slant Alpha household. And the furry co-pilots who double as our household security guards were just letting me know that somebody slightly unfamiliar was popping up.
GPS 1100 Heavy, who's that last call for?
Alright, in the meantime, we're now where?
UPS 1100.
30 miles outside of Fresno.
Thank you.
Which is about, you see it's just turned 2028, and it says 2031 and a half. So only about 3 minutes away. You can probably go in and check in with them anytime. Of course, now the sim clock is off by 2.5 minutes or so from the real clock, but of course what's being displayed here is in terms of the sim clock. So that is indeed 3 minutes away or so. But excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm still a little congested for the weekend. It's a bit under the weather, so I apologize for the extra noise coming out of the sinuses. Yeesh. That's lovely, isn't it? Alright, let's go ahead and check in with Shannon and see how the rest of this pans out. Shannon Control, Delta 154 Heavy, level at 390, 19 miles west of Fresno.
Delta 154, Channel Control, good evening. Radar Control Service, squawk 1472.
1472, Delta 154 ready. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the code I was originally issued back at the beginning of this whole ordeal, hours and hours ago. I'm trying.
Delta 154, present position, clear direct to Olapo.
Direct Olapo, Delta 154 ready. Alright, that makes things a little easier. So, pretty much shortcutted us straight to our arrival point. Let's see if I can. I don't even have a browser open. I guess because I have the desktop app for the charts. Normally I have a browser open where I have the FAA site up. But let's blank that out and go Resno. Olapo, and then VATSIM. That's pretty much our plan right now. And there it is. So Olapo, starts this path. It's called Lima 149 into Dublin VOR, and then Dublin VOR is slightly north and west of the airfield. But the arrival paths all start at Olapo. You'll notice in the desktop chart app, we've got Olapo is named in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Olapo is
Good evening, Shannon Center, American 100, heavy level 360 over Dolo, squawking 2000.
So,
American 100, contact Shannon Control 13.
once we know what runway they're using and what arrival they want to sign,
131150.
we'll go ahead and pop that in. As of right now, in
131150, American 100.
precisely 275 miles, we do not know what we're doing. As if it would take that
Delta
long
3240, Shannon.
to not know what we were doing. A sip of Red Bull here. Can't do a stream without it.
Delta 3240, Shannon.
One of these days they'll sponsor me, and I'll get some better hardware. So the other thing of note, and I've talked about it earlier in the first part of the stream, is that you may notice a slightly different look to the stream now. It's not that different. Honestly, I set it up pretty similarly on purpose. But I did migrate from the Bebo streaming app to the OBS, or the Streamlabs OBS streaming app. Obviously, I got the screen layout pretty close, as close as I could get it to what I had before, and the title screens are all. Obviously, it's the same artwork, but the one cool thing is that the transitions to and from the title screens are way cooler. Watch this. Ooh, fade. So, yeah, Bebo was a bit more rudimentary, but I've been happy with Streamlabs OBS so far, except that it does seem like it's very often giving me warnings about dropped frames. So you do notice the frame rate getting a little jaggy. It's not on my end, but it is streaming out that way, and I'll have to certainly spend some time researching why that is and how to avoid it, so that the streams don't look off.
Hello, 901, Channel Control, good evening, Radar Control Service, walk 6671.
Don't look all choppy all the time. I'm also not sure completely how the end mix is. I've been kind of tampering with the mix settings. Hopefully, you're hearing me over the airplane okay, and you're hearing me over the controller okay.
Flying flight level 390.
Normally, if the controller's, says my call sign, I'll shut up so you can hear what they're saying. But if I know they're not talking to me,
Delta 154, Shannon, descend flight level 330.
330 Delta 154 Heavy. So, you know, if I know they're talking to me, I'll shut up and let them talk so you can hear what instruction we're being given, case in point. But if I know they're not talking to me, I tend to talk right over them just because, you know, I might have something to explain about what's going on or what I'm doing or what I'm about to mess up. And hopefully the mix is adequate to where, you know, when the controller's been talking and I'm still kind of just talking you're still able to hear me okay. That's the aim anyway. Hopefully that's
again?
But if I don't have that quite dialed in right now, then by the time I get back into my normal streaming, hopefully we'll make those tweaks and adjustments. And
KLM 646 Delta, there's no need for position report. Your radar control service
that working the lab on it. So we have started our
Right,
descent
yeah,
now. Let's start our
yeah,
descent
yeah,
checklist.
yeah,
We'll turn our seatbelt sign on.
yeah.
Ooh, I gotta get some lighting on down there. Let's see. Where are the light controls for that lower panel? That's a good question. Might be down, might be here. No? That's for the TV. See, I thought all the lighting controls were over here. I think those are for the ones in front of me. And then above, got the, well, let's turn the dome light on. I'll tell you what, let's do that. See if that helps. Oh, wait, no, you know what? There it is. It's this one here, right? There we go. Perfect. So, as I was saying earlier, I love the night lighting in the PMDG. I think it's, you know, it's better than what I've got in X-Plane, but again, that might be my X-Plane settings, graphic settings. Alright, so seatbelt lights going on for the passengers. The no smoking sign is essentially the cabin crew be seated sign as far as I operate it. Cabin crew's still good to go for a little bit now. We don't have, I don't believe we've got any control specifically at Dublin. We do not. So we don't have an ATIS there either. But we can pull up a VTAR report. Oh, you know what? I hit enter like I was going to do that in X Squawk Box. I forgot. It's in VPilot over here. Man, how soon we forget. VTAR K, no, not K. EI. That's a cute little dichotomy there. In some ways, you know, old habits are quickly excuse me, I'm sorry. Old habits are quickly forgotten, but man, putting a K in front of the airport code, that's a habit that's hard to shed, isn't it?
KBOS 429, channel 131150.
So what do we got here? Hold on, get your mic while I cough. Alright, hear me? Okay. I am still alive. Ooh, that was a good one. So 320 at 10 knots, so wind is coming from the northwest. And few clouds at 2,000, not a big deal. QNH is 1025. I'll probably go preset that. That means I gotta flip this over from inches to pascals. 1025. Alright, that is preset. And we're leveling off at 330. I'll tell you what, if I get in here and I change the... No, it's already done that? Okay. Does that automatically. So, it's recalculated, I presume, on top of descent. Yep. we'll probably get a few more steps down, I would imagine. All right, so wind is from the northwest, a 32 or 330 type direction. Let's look and see if we can start anticipating what we're going to be getting into Dublin. We're briefing about an airport diagram. There we go. All right. So we've got a runway that goes north and west, but it's only 67, almost 6,800 feet. For my size airplane, I'm kind of thinking 2.8 is the better bet. And even that's only 8,600 feet. That's kind of small by U.S. standards. But I think now I'm starting to figure out why Pan Am never flew to Dublin. I wanted to fly under a clipper call sign, Pan Am PAA, Papa Alpha Alpha, and they used to go on the radio. They used to go by clipper. And Pan Am's just such an iconic airline, and I'm always about, bringing nostalgia to the icons of aviation history. So I love flying the Douglas DC-3, and I love flying this airplane, or it's not really what Pan Am flew. Pan Am flew 747, 100s and 200s, so this is a bit more modern than what they did. But I still enjoy flying the 747s under the Pan Am moniker and the famous and maybe now infamous clipper call sign. But couldn't find one where they flew into Dulles or into Dublin. And given the runway sizes, I think I maybe see why now. Matter of fact, this route, this Delta 154, in modern times is actually flown by a 757-200. So I'm kind of taking some liberty with that call sign. But hey, that's it. Right? Alright, I got another one.
646 contact Shannon Control 131 150, good night.
Was that for me? Was it a bit muffled? That was a bit muffled. Was that for Delta 154 Heavy?
Yeah, 646 Delta, contact Shannon 131 150.
Yeah, 646 Delta, contact 131.150.
Okay, wasn't for me. Yeah. Alright, here comes that lung. I'm going to mute the mic real quick. Yeah, I must have, during the course of the day, I must have coughed up 7 or 8 lungs. I'm not sure how many I have left. 4 or 5, I hope. Last of that Red Bull. Still can't quite tell if there's land around this or not. Just clouds and darkness. And low clouds, I guess. I mean, the meter's reporting a 2,000-foot deck. Well, clouds most of the way down, I would say. But definitely have the destination close. Now in the second most widest map range, and it's visible, so we'll knock down to the third. Thinking about a half an hour. We'll be down.
You'll take 7 Bravo Mike. Contact Shannon Control 131
Let's see what
150.
what the FMC says. So it says 2116 Zulu. That is just over a half an hour away. My original estimate, I mentioned earlier.
Delta 154. Contact Shannon Control 131 or 150. Good night.
3115 Delta 154 Heavy.
Alright. 90, contact Shannon Control, 131, 150, connect.
131, 150, left.
Alright. So, talk about my spreadsheet estimates
Yeah,
in just a moment.
Valley, 6, Bravo Motion, hello, identified, maintain flight level 410. Hello, that's 901, flight level 390.
And chaos.
Hello, 091, hello, identified, maintain flight level 30.
Alright, so my spreadsheet estimated a 2105 touchdown and a 2110 block time. So let's see how close we get to that. Like I said, the FMC is being a little bit more conservative. It says 2116 touchdown time. So we'll see who's closest. Shannon Control, Delta 154 Heavy, level at 330.
Sorry, station control for Norway.
Delta 154 Heavy.
Delta 154, Shannon, thank you. Report ready for descent. Expect the Alapo 1 Lima landing runway 28.
Alapo 1 Lima, landing 28, and we'll let you know. Delta 154 Heavy. Alright, that told us exactly what we needed to do tomorrow.
Shannon Control,
Lapo.
speaker 908 with you, followable 370.
1 X-ray, where is it? Lapo 1
Speaker
Lima.
987, hello, spot 0412.
Okay. And then let's go to the
Squawk 0412, speaker
airport
908.
diagram. Have that ready so we can easily switch back and forth between these two. We'll probably also need is the approach ILS alert 28. Okay. Let's get that set up in the FMC. We go to route. No, departure arrival. And DIW arrivals. And there's page. Lapo 1 Lima, ILS 28, no transitions, execute. Let's see how it looks in the legs page. I want to bring it up over my other screen where I can make it a little bigger and still see the FMC here. But we're coming in from Olapo, we should be then Ronan, then Morven, and then Curis, and then, let's see, it splits off from there. The FMC is saying Kirav. Okay, I see that. And then what's on the next page? Kogax, Kudum, DW814, DW815, DW816, and then, looks like it should be
Edward 429 contact, Shannon 125875.
and Latmo, and then let's see Maxev. That might be on the approach. Let's look on the approach. Yep, Maxev is on the
Shannon Control,
on the final approach to the runway. So, yep, looks good. Everything's in as it should be. Let's actually roll back through that arrival and just make sure all the altitude restrictions are there that should be. Alright, back.
Scuba 801 contact, Shannon Control 125875. Right.
Okay, 8,000 through a bunch of this. Okay. Alright. So it looks like we're good.
Scuba 801 125875. And FedEx 511 is back, that'll be
Let's put our
374.
fixed circles up around the,
FedEx 411 Shannon, thank you, contact London 123.9, right? London, London 123.9 for FedEx 511, have a good one,
There.
bye-bye, good night.
/10. There, that'll put some circles up around the airport so we'll know when to make sure the aircraft is configured for approach and then landing. Barrow local, that is already done. Approach assignment, we did the FMC route, let's do the VREF. We're going to do a, tell you what, let's do a flaps 30. It is a little bit of a shorter runway. I don't do the full landing calculation like I should, but kind of just eyeball it. But given a bit shorter runway than what I'm used to in the States, we'll do a flaps 30 landing. Minimums, let's go back to the chart here, set the minimums for the approach. Come back over here and look at the approach chart. Straight in landing 28, ILS 402, so we'll set that to 410. Get that off the screen, oops, get that off the screen. Minimums are over here, so we'll set that to 410, just to be the next one highest. Okay. Set the auto brake. I'm going to kind of, again, I don't do the full calculation like I should, but I'm going to set that a little higher than I normally do. Normally I put that on 2, I'm just going to put that on 3 for today. We'll review the missed approach altitude and procedure, and then we'll kind of get an idea of what our taxi and route's going to look like as well. Missed approach, straight ahead, 3,000, and then right turn, 5,000. So we'll be ready on those altitudes. We'll set 5,000 on the MCP once we have localizer and glide slope. But another cough coming. Alright, and then taxi en route, basically a right turn off there, and back to the terminal. Probably be, we really have we don't have an assigned gate, but a right turn here, probably something like that. So that's what we'll expect, but it's definitely a right turn off. Get that in front of me since that's what I'm flying right now. All right. So are we set? Yep. So 60 miles from top of descent. And they wanted us to report ready to descend, so we'll let them know when that's a little closer in. Yeah, we'll let them know that we're ready, and they can give that descent to us as needed. Shannon Control, Delta 154 Heavy, we're ready for descent anytime.
Delta 154, descend to flight level 170.
Send flight level 170, Delta 154 Heavy. So what we'll do is we'll set that, go ahead and intervene it. 170. Should put us in a pretty shallow descent.
KBOS-EIDW Delta, contact Channel Control 125875.
Yeah, so it's going to put us in a nice shallow descent until the VNAV path.
Channel Control 125875, speed 801, correct?
No, it's not doing that, actually. But that's right.
Version 130, contact Channel Control 125.870.
That's right. So the 744 may act a little differently than the 738.
Channel 125.80, American 100.
738, if you put it into descent before the calculated TOD, it'll just put it in a 1,000 foot per minute descent until the VMAX path catches up with it. So, I guess this the 744 handles that a little bit differently. No, sorry.
Say again, Yes, say your request again, please. 901 request 20 degrees to the left for west. Hello, sir. Personnel on 901, that's clear for talk there. 901.
Shelling Control Delta 501, flight level 360, over Soda.
Delta 501, 6640.
6640501.
We're not anywhere near the first of those altitude restrictions yet, so not going to worry about it too much. A little closer in, we realize we're coming up on one of those restrictions, and I'll modify the descent rate accordingly. But for right now, we'll just keep on with what the computer's doing, and we'll just kind of monitor and see if we need to adjust. So I probably could have waited until the calculated top of descent to say that we were ready. I just don't know how that protocol works over here. Is that what's normally done? And you report at top of descent that you want to go ahead and start descending. It wasn't phrased that way. It was phrased as report ready. So I don't know. I just don't know the European or Irish or ICAO protocol for when you get assigned that star and fly. I'm used to the U.S. where you file the star as part of your route.
338, contact channel control 125.875, goodbye.
So, yeah, maybe just need to watch some other streams and see how that's handled more normally.
1258 on
I definitely don't like flying overseas, so. So, it's a bit of a learning experience, a little bit of a learning curve.
Canada American 100 Heavy, file 360.
American 100, hello, identify, maintain flight level 360.
Maintain file 360, American 100 Heavy.
FedEx 723, contact London Control 123.9, goodbye.
So the one thing I gotta remember is the transition altitude is not 18,000 feet here. Let's see if it's listed on the chart. Maybe listed on the chart. I don't know if Ireland is one of those that varies day to day, or if it's airport elevation. Don't see anything about don't see anything about a transition altitude. I don't have ATIS, so I don't know what that transition altitude normally would be, or if it would be reported in the ATIS. Okay, transition level by ATC, it said right there. So they haven't said anything about transition level yet. Of course, they've cleared us down to 170, which is a flight level over here, whereas that would be 17,000 in the US. So we'll just kind of go by that. If they give us an altitude, we'll know it's standard, and if they give us a flight level, we know it's not. That's all I'll say about that.
For the ATC, continue contact with you guys now. Good landing, goodbye.
He was going so fast I couldn't quite make out.
So you know you're coming to?
Yeah, I don't know who that was for.
Delta 154, there's no further ATC, Unicom 122.8.
22.8 for Delta 154 Heavy. Okay, well that makes
KLM 646 Delta Com.
that makes it a little different. Alright, well I guess we're on our own for this stuff then. Ready? Here's the, I guess their high sector only. According to here, whoops, nope, this one. According to here, they're still covering, but maybe the high sector only. Just for the event. That's alright, we'll make do. I do need to pop the mic into mute for just a second. So bear with me, I'll be right back. Alright, so back with you. And yeah, so I guess I gotta figure out on my own what we're doing here. So it's still saying top of descent is not until there. So you know what I'm gonna do? No, it's okay. It's leveling out to decelerate, which is fine. I'm gonna do that. Let's go to the next page. Tell you what, let's do this. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do this is just recalculate the descent path. Let's see if it recalculated the rest of those. Yeah, it's flirting with overspeed too, isn't it? It does have a slowing down though. You can see the expected speeds at each point. So it's going to keep us down as low as it can get us. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead at this point and presume that we will have gotten cleared down to 8,000. Let's go ahead and set that down there. As a matter of fact, the last published point on that arrival was 3,000 feet. And then the approach intercepts from Lapmo at 3,000. So, all right. So that's the plan. $8,000 through all that. And And lab no ladder above 3,000, max of it about 2,500. And then back up to 5,000 if we do go missed. Alright, so the FMC has the descent mapped out. Let it do its thing. Yeah, of course the plane's yelling at me to switch back to standard pressure. I wouldn't ordinarily do that here, passing 180. However, since we are now self-cleared down to what is most certainly a local altitude, we'll go ahead and do that. You know, again, the chart says ATC would have told us when that was, and the ATC is not here to help us. So, we'll make do. We'll make do with our best guess. And puppy, it is not time to play right now. Daddy's busy. Give me that toy. Give me that toy. Give me that toy. Give me that toy. Oh, give me that toy. Give me that toy. Give me that toy. Give me. Oh, furry co-pilot. About as useful as Otto. Oh, you, which way is it going? It's going that way. Very exuberantly covers that 4-foot distance. Oh, brought it back. Why did you bring it back if you don't want me to have it? You don't want me to have it. Why did you bring it back? Why did you bring it back? Come here. Come here. I know, this is like really enthralling viewing for you guys, isn't it? It's like you're watching me hold level at 17,000 while my autopilot flies the plane and I play with my puppy. Come here. Come here, toy. Come here. Come here, toy. Come here. Come here, toy. No, come here. Oh. Come here. Almost lost it, didn't you? Didn't you? Oh. Oh, you're so tough. Come here. Oh. Oh. You're about to lose it. You're about to lose it. Oh, get it. Pop the map down a range, starting to get a little cluttered. Down one. We could probably shortcut ourselves through some of this path here. Wonder if we should. Maybe cut a few minutes off of that. Arrival. Of course, we're now after what my spreadsheet said we would be by 4 minutes touchdown. My spreadsheet said, what, 5 after? It's now 10 after. So 5 minutes, 5 minutes after I thought we'd be down, and not yet. So, estimate's not exactly dead on. Oh, come on, pup. You don't need to go outside right now, do you? Alright, well, it looks like I've got a minute or two before I gotta do anything. So let's go ahead and mute the mic and get them outside real quick. I'll be right back with you. I'm back. Fortunately, the weather's nice, and I just left the back door open. They can come in when they want. Starting to see land. That's clever. What I imagine would be the city of Dublin that we're circling to the north of. Some nice choppy clouds there for us to come through yet. I'm now descending out of that 17,000. What is our next action from a standpoint of our checklists? Not quite down through 10,000 yet, so we don't have to do too much more at the moment. But we are getting close. Why is my phone not charging? Charge it, Daniel. There we go. All right, so the next minor little procedure we'll run is our 10,000 foot checklist. Now, here's one difference. Like, I use the word checklist. For me, a checklist is more of like a procedural flow list. I promise, I've only had Red Bull. I did forego the vodka today. But yeah, so I say checklist when I say I'm passing 10,000. I run a checklist, and I get to the 10-mile ring. I run a checklist. I'm talking just about my own procedural flow lists. I kind of have those here. I'll give you a little flash of them. They're kind of personal. I set those up the way I like to fly, and by the reminders that I feel that I need personally. So I don't share those with the public. And the other thing is that they're constantly a work in progress. I'm always tweaking them. Every flight I make a little minor adjustment to it. If I find something that didn't quite work the way I wanted, or I didn't quite get it done when I intended to, or I missed something and I need to make it bold or red to make sure I see it. So, you know, I'm always changing that around, and that's why I don't publish those or share those. I figured as soon as I send them out, they'll be obsolete. So, but I do recommend, especially if you're, you know, flying like 5 or 6 or 7 different models of aircraft, and you're not intensely familiar with any one, you know, you want to kind of have those reminders and those flow lists and procedures and checklists in front of you. So more properly, a checklist is a safety checklist that you would conduct at a certain portion of the flight, just to make sure that you have done all of the procedural flows up until that point. But for me, you know, like I said, I'll have a 2 or 3 step little checklist that I'll run here in just a second as we pass through 10,000 feet. So if I say checklist and you're expecting something else, my apologies. Alright, dogs are back in. Let me run out back and close that door, just so I don't let in the squirrels and the rabbits. We'll be back and we'll get this thing on the ground. Sound like a plan? Alright, let's do it. Back in 1 second. Alright, yeah, so I took down the notice that said I had the mic muted, and I still have the mic muted. Okay, I'm really back this time. Alright, let's look at this. Is it really going to be necessary to fly this whole arc? I think I'm going to shortcut this. What do you guys think? Might have to descend like a friggin' rabbit, though. Let's do that. What is that? Something Watmu? Textures are a little fuzzy, but let's do this. Normu, there it is. So let's go direct Normu after Kirov. There we go. Let's take away that 8,000 foot restriction as well. Oops. Not what I meant to do. But that's alright. Pop that down a level. Oh. You want to run somebody over? Sorry, Rhino. Nothing personal. Above us and climbing, we're okay. Tell you what, let's do a little announcement here. 122.8, yeah. Right base to it. And Ryan wants to land there too. You know what? All right, fine. Let's follow him. Let's get the heading selects over here, and we'll just pick a heading that's further out. And we'll just say we'll follow it right. Yep. Just kind of keep an eye on him. But since we're starting to pull the speed back, let's go ahead and get the speed window opened up and start cranking that down. And we'll start pulling flaps down as well. So yeah, we blew through our 10,000 foot checklist. Let's get that done real quick. Landing lights, outboard landing or inboard landing lights will go on. So that's those and those. Get the turn off lights on as well. And we'll cycle the no smoking light just to let the cabin crew know that we're getting ready to start our approach. Alright, what's Ryan there doing? He's taking a shorter path to the runway, so we'll be okay. If we square this off, we should be behind him. But look, our angle of attack is going up and up and up. We need to get some flaps out here. Through 5, now we can go down through 10. And let's keep it at 170 and flaps 10 there. And let's just go to a vertical speed hold, and we'll slow that descent down 800 feet. All right. Yeah, you can square that turn off, and he's coming up on that 10-mile ring, so we can turn in now behind him. Get that turn to a heading where we'll intercept 300, that should do. You can see a localizer and glide slope bar coming in. So we'll call this a 15-mile final. Put the Ryanair on a 10-mile final now. At least as a minute ago. Okay, coming up on that 3,000 foot altitude. Let's go 10 more degrees right. Make sure we intercept that glide slope, or that localizer rather. Coming up on that 10-mile ring, so let's run that real quick. We'll get the no smoking lights on. look at the spoilers armed. That is there. Speed brake arm, it says, good. We've already done the flap extension, and we got to make sure we got the approach mode set. Remind ourselves what the VREF speed is. Whoops. Alright, we'll go ahead and engage localizer. Should start to see that come in just a second. Ryanair's on a 4-mile final. Yeah, there he is. Glide slope starting to come down. Actually, I'm gonna lower that altitude. We want to make sure we don't blow through that. Localizers coming in, glide slopes coming in. Let's get both of those. Whoops. Yeah, let's get both of those set. Make sure the airplane turns to capture and starts descending below. Missed approach altitude, remember, is 5,000, so we will set that. Okay, capture, localizer capture is occurring now. Glide slope capture will be any moment. As soon as we're descending below 2,500, we will know we can go ahead and set the MCP to the missed approach altitude. Once we've captured glide slope, we'll go ahead and gear down. Alright. Alright, we got localizer and glide slope, and we are descending below the MCP. We can now safely set that to 5,000 as our missed. Check crosswind. We got a nice 16 knot crosswind right to left. So we need to be cognizant of that as we go to our VREF 140. It's 141. We'll make it say half of the so 149. So 149 is our approach ref, and 141 are the numbers. Remember, landing flaps is what? 30, I believe? Yeah, so we need to continue to pull those out. At the 4-mile ring, we got landing flaps, which we have done now. Landing lights, which we have done now. Taxi light on with the continuous ignition is here, and we are ready. Are we ready to fly this thing for real? Let's match the throttle. Where's my throttle indicators? Right down there. All right. Stable. My airplane. I know. It'll be okay, I promise. Alright. Alignment's good. Glide slope and localizer's good. Speed is 149. Over the numbers, we'll bring it back down to the landing flap speed of 140. We're a little above glide slope now. We're going to pitch down and power down. And we're a little right of center line now, but remember, we got that crosswind coming from the right. That's going to help us stay on that, so Don't want to correct too much. All right, now we're going to start bringing down the continuing. Took on the 141, but I'm a little low. I'm a couple knots too slow, but we're okay. Power down, gentle flare, and putter. With the reversers. Make a right turn off when able, not in a hurry. Might be able to make this next one here. We're at 70 knots. Cancel the reversers, braking manually. Starting flaps and spoilers. And there we go. Kilnavok, I apologize for missing your message. I don't know how long ago it was. We had just landed in Dublin, Ireland. And thank you for joining us. Alrighty. Alrighty. So, I was pretty happy with how that went. A couple little things to do. Let's see if I remember correctly. I'm going to make a left turn up here. Let's see, where's that chart? Yeah. Thank you for having us. Well, you're quite welcome. Hope you enjoyed the in-flight meal. The entertainment, I know, was substantial. So we're going to make this left turn here at what, Mike 2? Is that where we are now? I missed the sign. What's that up ahead? Mike 2 is up ahead, so that's where we'll go. I got a little bit of a taxi and checklist to do. Stow flaps and spoilers, we did it. Get the landing lights off. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can get the turn off lights off as well. 1 and 2. Get the strobe light off. There's our left turn coming up. Get the continuous ignition turned back off and no longer need that as a fail-safe. If we lose an engine now, we will not die. What's next? We'll go ahead and get the APU started. So that we'll have power when we shut down the engines. Turn the auto brake off. Has done its duty. We'll go ahead and let let's see, what are we about to cross here? 3-4. Send that as soon as we get over the whole short line there. Alright, back to the checklist. Or break off. We can turn the no smoking light off, which is our cabin crew's signal that they can get up and start preparing for arrival. We get the weather radar off and the terrain radar off, just so that we don't unnecessarily irradiate any ground crew. I don't really know where I'm going. I'm just going to pick a gate. Doesn't matter. I don't know where Delta parks here. Plus, I have a 747. It's a little bigger than what they usually park, so we'll just pick a spot. No big deal. And the last piece of the taxi in is the transponder. We can get this back into ground mode. Just follow this one in here and just pick a spot. But anyway, that was fun. I wish I'd had ATC all the way to the ground here, but it was kind of exciting to figure it out on our own as well, in a much more nerve-wracking sort of way. Did have that close call with that Ryanair, but hopefully our willingness to come in behind him was enough of a kiss and make up for him. Should say him or her, I guess. It's him. We all know damn well it's him. Up to the gate. Let me stop here. Alright, parking brake. Get the taxi light off. APU gens can come on. Let's see, we can get the dome light on here. See what we're doing a little bit. Let's see, APU gens, engine cutoffs, those are down here. Just cut them in the order we started them. 4, 3, 2, 1. Seatbelt lights can come off. Start making your mad dash for the exit now. Beacon and wing lights can come off. The wing light's on, actually, so the ground crew can see what they're doing. Beacon light can come off, though. Fuel pumps can come off. All 50 of them. We set the trim to 6. We got to do that before we shut the hydropower off. So we'll do that now. Yeah, it's actually not that far from 6, but that's even closer. And now we'll do the hydro. Hydro 4 goes to aux. 3, 2, and 1 go off. Wheel shocks and doors are over here. Whoops, here. Menu. FS actions. Wheel shocks. Oh, set them first, right? There we go. Now we can do ground power and AC. Oh no, we don't do the ground power just yet. But we do the doors. Back. Open the left entry and the cargo doors. Alright, so yeah, wheel trucks and doors. Transponder can go back to standby mode. And 1200. Matter of fact, at this point, it's probably fine to just go ahead and disconnect from VATSIM. So we'll do that. Flight directors can come off. Reset that. Brake now can come off. We got the wheel trucks on in its place. Hydro number 4 can come off. Off rather. Check the fuel in the ETA. So I said that the ETA was a little bit off 25 minutes after I expected to be. So that was just a timing calculation error on a long haul flight, which I don't do a lot of. But fuel, we should have 46,300 pounds left. We got 45.3, so we're pretty close. We're 1,000 pounds under, but that's accounted for by that extra little bit of time. So that's not too bad. That estimate's pretty close. I'm happy with that. I'd rather have a little extra than be a little short, but overall that's fairly close. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and turn the air packs off, get the rest of the plane shut down here. Ground power and AC can come on now. Here. Ground connections. Ground power I already did. Air conditioning we can put in now. Go ahead and set the external power. With those set, we can shut the APU off. And we'll reset everything on the MCP. We'll reset the minimums. There. There, I said. No? Doesn't want to reset them? Alright, fine, don't reset them. Okay, reset the minimum. What else was I going to do? Reset the minimums. We set this default value as 200. Not sure why, that's just the tradition. I like the heading set to 0. Oops. Default that to 10,000. Oh, 10, 0. Alright, and then we're powering down. What we got to do? Logo lights are off. Wing lights are off. Nav lights are off. We'll go ahead and close up all the doors. Hopefully everybody got out. If not, last call. So I guess that includes me. Ground power and AC can come back off. The IRS knob, yeah, we're losing power in the airplane. We expect to, we just shut it all off. IRS knob's off. Standby power off. Emergency lights open up, disarm those, or off rather. Yep. Panel lights, I turned a bunch of them on, but. So, in the PMDG 748, you definitely want to turn all this stuff off because the next pilot that has that virtual airplane will mark it down if you don't. But for me, I just do it because I'm OCD. Turn all that stuff off. Yes, we should turn these off down here as well. All right. That should do it. Oh, I forgot one. Where was that one? That was this one here. Uh-oh, nope, still forgot one. Alright, you know what, forget it. It'll all be taken care of when I do this. Alright, very good guys. I appreciate you joining me there for that last little bit. I I was originally intending to stream the whole flight, but there's just a big chunk in the middle that there's just not enough to do, and I can't entertain somebody for that long. I'm sure I barely entertained you for the length that I did. But next week we get back to our regular streaming schedule. Let's see, what do I have in store for you guys? Let me pull that schedule up in front of me. So ordinarily I stream on Sunday nights. Not doing it tomorrow just because, you know, I'm exhausted from today. But let's see, so that would be the 27th. No, today's 27th, so we'll be off the 28th. Next Friday then would be the next regularly scheduled stream, and we'll do that at 7 Eastern Time, which is 2300 Zulu time. And we're going to do something fun. We're going to do the AeroWorks DC-3 and X-Plane. So you guys, if you've seen my stream before, you know how big of a fan I am of the Douglas DC-3. So, and you know that I was, you know, kind of playing around with the Digital Decoder Works version on FSX. Well, since I abandoned FSX, I'm now in X-Plane, and I wasn't quite sure which DC-3 I wanted for X-Plane. Well, I found AeroWorks, which is basically, it's the very same one, the Digital Decoder Works DC-3 for FSX and Prepare 3D, that's been ported over into X-Plane. And boy, I'm missing a few pieces of that airplane, aren't I? Oh well. Goodbye, glitchy FSX. Maybe my last FSX flight ever. We'll see. But, so next week we're going to take the AeroWorks DC-3 out and we'll compare and contrast it to the FSX version of the very same piece of software, and we'll see. You know, I also got the V-Skylabs DC-3, so we may do some compare and contrast. But next week it'll be the AeroWorks, and we'll do some classic airliner flying for you in true slant alpha style, unlike today. So that's the plan. We'll see you at 2300 Zulu next Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, rather. And I hope that in the meantime you'll have safe travels in your own adventures. We'll see you.